Alright, so today we're going to be modeling this object. It's called a fluted disk. And so what you will observe is that there are these semicircles going all the way around. So we're going to be making use of the new array modifier found in Blender. And you'll see how to use it to create this object. So let me show you. Let's turn this off and I'm going to create a new collection. So click on C in collection and you could press C and it'll create a collection there. We could double tap it or press select it and press F2 and I made fluted disk. So remember I said we're going to be making use of that array modifier. So let's press 7 for top view and let's press Shift A and add a mesh circle. And you will initially have a maybe 32, but you could turn this down to like 12. Why 12? Because we're going to be subdividing this object or using the subdivision surface modifier, and that just adds a bunch of vertices. So let's start off with as few as we can. All right, so 12 is good. So let's close this down and now tab into edit mode and make sure that we are in vertex mode. All right. And we're going to select these top here, including these two on the middle line. So select all of them and press X and delete vertices. Now press A to see. We want to move this up to the line here. So make sure that this increment is enabled and press, this is on the Y axis, press GY and let's hold Control and snap it there. All right, tab out of edit mode and let's add now the array modifier. If it is that you're not seeing it, it's because it's run out of real estate. So there's an arrow up there. Matter of fact, I believe it's a little bit lower like that by default. So when you press here, it's in sight. So click on array modifier. First, let's change the count. We want like 16. So change the count to 16. But the shape, we don't want line, rather we want circle. Right, it doesn't look anything like what we want right now, but just zoom out a bit and we want to change the radius, right, just about there. So what we want really is this little gap that we're going to connect afterwards. So we could hold shift and click for finer control. So probably there is good. All right, and we are done with that. So we could click on this drop down arrow and click on apply. So now when you tab into edit mode and let's go press 7 for top view, we could, you see these two on the outer edge, all the outer edges, we could select them and press F, select them, F, and we could go all the way around. I believe I should fast forward this, right? That shouldn't take too long. If you select more and press F, you just press back, undo, Control Z. All right, select 2F, select 2F. Oh, good. So all are selected. So press A and press F to create a face. And now we're going to extrude it up a bit. So we're going to press E to extrude, E. All right, or we could just raise it up to the approximate height that we want and left click and drop it there. You notice all these edges here. We want just the top edges, the bottom edges, and these that are sticking out. These are all we want. How do we get that? Now, if I press Alt and left click, I will get a top edge. And if I press Shift Alt left click, I will get this. But what happens is that it selects the whole thing. So I have to make sure I'm in edge mode. And let's try it again. So let's click away, Alt left click, and then Alt Shift left click. See that? But then I also want these here. If I do this to click here, it's going to take a while. So here's an easier way to do that. We could simply select an edge and go to select similar, and there are similar face angles, and we select all of them. And then we could press Alt left click the top one and Shift Alt left click the bottom one. So instead of Control B and bevel it manually, we're going to do something different. We're going to actually add a weight to it. So what do I mean? So if I press N and go to item, in the edges data, we could add a mean bevel weight and a weight of 1. So when I add a bevel modifier, generate bevel modifier, what happens by default is that it bevels everything based on an angle. See that? So the limit method is the angle. Anything 30 and above, it's going to bevel it. But we want to limit it to the weight, what we just selected. So limit method to weight. All right, so there's only those edges that we marked as a weight of 1 gets beveled. And we could increase this to like 3 And to see exactly what's being beveled, we could go up here to overlays and click on wireframe. And let's tab out of edit modes. We see even better. So while we're doing this, we could adjust this. So this is 1. So it's just bevel it by 1 and 2, 3. But it's a bit too thick. So we could type in 0.005. That looks about right. A nice bevel there. All right. And so we could turn off the wireframe, right? Click there and turn off wireframe. And what we want to do now, we want to add a subdivision surface modifier. Remember earlier I said I use few vertices because we're going to subdivide it. So we're going to just use a subdivision surface level of probably 1 or 2. So click here, generate subdivision surface. There we have it. I can right click and shade smooth. If I zoom really close, you see those faceted edges. We could just increase it just by 1. Really smooth. Control S to save. It's as easy as that. Very simple. Very easy. What I would suggest you to do is to try it one more time on your own without following the tutorial. Try it one more time and you will improve a lot faster. All right. So I'll see you in the next one.